Hey guys, welcome to episode 14. We have Neal from Now Property Investments making a return, a very quick return from the last episode. So we're going to talk about his more recent projects, what's been happening with him and me since you haven't heard from me in quite some time. I've been busy, very busy. Neal, glad to have you back.
Thanks for having me. It was fun last time, and I think we're gonna have some pretty interesting stuff to talk about this time.
I, I suspect so. I suspect so. So yeah, you were just talking about the duplex. I'm not sure how much of that you wanted to share. Maybe you can just provide some background context. And I don't think I ever caught what happened at the end. I think you were saying last thing I remember is the lady said something about they were showing it to you, but it wasn't on the market yet, or something along those lines.
Yeah, yeah. So there was this duplex in Arlington, Texas, right by UTA, and basically how I found it was I was on the Facebook Marketplace just looking for like different houses. Sometimes people put houses up there, and I saw this lady that she basically posted this duplex that was in Arlington. So I hit her up and I was like, "Hey, I'm interested. What's the address? And I'd like to come by and look at it." So I went by and looked at it the next day, and the duplex was pretty much in really good shape as from when you came out as well. So
Yeah.
she was a little shaky. It was her first time having like a investment property. So basically, it was really on me, truthfully. When I reached out to her and I was talking to her about the duplex, I was gonna turn that into an Airbnb, but I had never actually done Airbnb before. But it's funny that you and I had talked about it last time on the podcast. So when I was talking to her, I was a little shaky, like I don't really know, but I would love to own her finance, and that's what she wanted to do as well. But my me being so hesitant kind of messed up the deal because she ended up reaching out to a realtor, and the realtor ended up messing up the deal because instead of the lady I think she wanted like she was gonna own and finance it for like 200,000 or something like that, or like 215 or something like that. When she ended up reaching out to the realtor was like, "Yeah, we can list it for 225 or 230," because the realtor didn't realize that if you have a house and you also have a mortgage on it, you can also own or finance that home. So it just really came from the ignorance with the realtor because what the lady could have gotten. So what my terms would have been was it would have been like I would have offered her like 270, and it could have been like 270 with like a 3 or 4% interest rate. I would have put down like 15,000, and over the 10 years or 15 years or whatever, she would have ended up making probably around like almost 300,000 on that with the interest rate and everything.
Yeah.
But with the realtor, she ended up just selling it for the I think 225, and basically she ended up losing like 60 or 70 thousand dollars if we're just keeping it real. Because what she wanted to do, like I said at first, she wanted to own her finance. The realtor didn't realize that she could do that because she had only been in the game for 4 months, and me not just taking the initiative, I didn't reach out to her fast enough to get it done.
Mm. So the owner finance deal, how does that work exactly? Can you hear me clearly on that end? It sounds weird on my feet. I'm
Yeah,
hearing some
yeah, I
feedback.
can hear you pretty really good.
Okay.
Do you hear anything on my side?
I feel like I'm hearing some feedback.
Hold on, I think it might be the air. Let me. Okay, it should probably stop in the next like minute or
Okay.
so. But yeah, owner finance. What was the question again?
Yeah, so basically that's the owner letting you pay them over time with an
Yeah,
interest rate, right? Instead of you taking out a loan.
exactly. So the owner in turn is acting basically as the bank. So how it will work if the owner has a loan on the house right now, basically what would happen is the owner and I would come up with whatever terms made sense. So let's say for that example, the lady wanted, let's say she wanted, 215 or 220 or whatever, and 5% interest rate, right? So I will put down whatever we negotiated. Let's say we negotiated. I put down 15,000. I'll put down 15,000, um, and basically my payments would go to a third party servicer, which would in turn pay the first lien, which is the original mortgage, and then pay her afterwards. And then I would be left basically renting it out for whatever I could after all of that. So let's say that her original mortgage is $700, right? So her
Okay.
original mortgage is $700. Um, I told her that I would pay her every month $1,000. So the bank would get 700, she would get 300, and with that Airbnb, we were thinking what, like 4,000 a month or something like that from renting out both sides.
Thereabouts. I think I would say you could rent out each side for maybe an average of 100, 120 a night. Um, if you do the math on that, that's about 4,000 a month.
Yeah,
That's about 4,000 a month.
right. So it was a win-win for everybody. She gets that passive income without having to be a landlord. The original lender, they get their money, and then I get paid.
Mm. So in that deal, where does the realtor come in that deal? So typically, when you do a sale, you get a loan, or rather, the buyer gets a loan. Their loan pays off what you're still owing, and then you get the rest of it, and the realtor gets to take what the real estate agent split. Like they split 6% thereabouts, right? So where does that leave the realtor in this owner finance deal?
Yeah, so the realtor would still get. So let's say we sold it or she sold it to us for 215. The realtors would still get that 6%, and we just end up, paying that out of that 15,000 that came out up front.
So it's not like they're losing anything. They just really didn't know any better.
Exactly.
Huh. I think when you first mentioned it, I thought maybe there's an angle that would cost the real estate agent somehow, and they didn't want to go that route because of it.
No, but being a rookie realtor, you might think like, oh, okay, actually, I can't do that because when I spoke to the realtor, the first contract that they got under, the first buyer that they got under contract, he ended up backing out. So I told the realtor, hey, our offer still stands with the owner finance, and she was like, no, you can't owner finance a house that you don't own. And I was like, what do you mean she doesn't own the house? And she was like, no, the bank owns it. I said, no, she owns the house. The bank owns the note, and you can definitely own her finance. And the realtor never responded back to me. So yeah. So that's why I always warn like homeowners, like if you're gonna work with a realtor, make sure that they know what they're doing. Like this lady, she was like 4 months into the game. You know what I mean? So it's like you're 4 months into the game. Maybe you're talking to your broker, and your broker doesn't know anything about creative financing, and it's like, you know, you think you can't do things, you think it might be illegal. You can talk to the title company, you can talk to all your attorneys. It's totally legal.
Hmm. I don't know. That's a weird one. I feel like if she really wanted to sell a house, she could have done a little bit of research before
Right.
before
Right.
getting back into that. But anyways,
But most of the time, realtors, and this is not dogging realtors because we work with realtors all the time. We love them, but most of the time, realtors only want the cut and dry, you know, transaction. They don't want to have to think about, oh, what do I have to do with creative financing or owner financing or subject to or anything like that.
okay, fair enough. But are you still searching for deals like that, or did that kind of leave a sour taste in your mouth?
No, I'm 100% still searching for deals like that. Like I said, I haven't done an Airbnb type deal yet, but I'm glad that I have a great friend like you that knows how to do it. And we can definitely go in on it together and make something happen.
For sure, for sure. Let me know. Did you mention that you found that seller you said on a group or something?
Yeah, yeah. It was like the Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, okay. Like just the regular marketplace?
Yeah, it was either the marketplace or she posted it inside like because there's like different like DFW real estate I guess groups or whatever on there. It was
Yeah.
either on the marketplace or it was in one of those groups.
Okay. I have to keep my eye out for some of those.
Yeah.
Um, I'm finished the sale of the townhouse late February.
Oh,
So I'm
congrats.
planning. Thanks. I'm planning to pick up some apartments pretty soon. Probably early next month. I'm gonna start talking to places. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
That's something I've been wanting to do for some time. Even before I went to townhouse route, I think I had mentioned last time. But there was it seemed to me like there was this barrier to finding those places. And now that I know how, it seems so easy that it's almost funny that I thought it was so it was that difficult in the first place. But yeah, that would be an interesting adventure. I think it's just something where you have to get your foot in the door in one place.
Right.
If you get a good deal in one place, one apartment could be five eventually.
Really?
So yeah, they actually prefer the places that are ideal for this. They actually prefer people to rent multiple units
Wow.
because typically they'll want to. I mean, it depends on the deal you negotiate with them, but they'll want to charge you more probably,
Yeah.
and so they're getting more rent. You're probably not going to damage their place like regular renters will.
Right.
They know you're going to pay on time. You're running a business. They know you're going to clean the place like every time a guest leaves, as opposed to a long-term renter that might live there a whole year and maybe clean the place twice. So
Right.
it's
Right.
in a way it's like a win-win. The places that really do this and understand the difference, it's like a win. It's a win-win for them. So the
Right.
more apartments they can get you, the least the better. So it's a sweet deal once you find that symbiosis where they understand they're getting something and you're getting something too.
Right. So
So
so when you say like they charge you more, like do you know how much more or is it just
so before I got into the townhouse thing, I had found one place. There was only one place I'd found that actually said, yes, we do allow people to, use our apartments for Airbnb or short term renting. It's I think we talked about it last time, the Butler Brothers building.
yeah.
So for context, if I remember correctly, what I was talking to them about was a studio apartment. So their studios were going for about, if I again, this is me trying to remember, almost 2 years ago. Actually, just over 2 years ago now. This was pre-COVID, I think. The
Oh
studios were
wow.
going for about 2,200 a month. So they were saying that yes, we allow people to Airbnb, blah blah blah, but if you're using your apartment for Airbnb, if it's a corporate lease, quote unquote, not all corporate leases will allow you Airbnb, but if it's a corporate lease, quote unquote, we'll charge you 2,400 instead, which is not a
Yeah.
ridiculous, it's not a
Not bad.
ridiculous hike. Yeah, and they did have an additional caveat. I don't know if this applies to all their tenants. I'm guessing it doesn't, but maybe it does. I don't know. The additional caveat was okay. Your deposit is going to be 2 months rent. I don't I don't know if that applies to if most of their tenants, especially since they were pretty flexible on the lease. They said we could even get like a 6 month lease, which I thought was
Oh wow.
that I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe they're really desperate for tenants at the time,
Ah,
but yeah. So that was their deal, like 2,400 a month, studio apartment. Um, 2 months rent, 2 months rent for deposit. So basically, getting started would have been like 7,200 out the gate. Getting started. Looking back, that was not a bad deal. It
yeah.
wasn't a bad deal, but at the time, I didn't really know. Like I'd watched all these YouTube videos. Okay, they say you can do this, they say you can do that, but I haven't done it yet. So
Yeah.
I don't actually know how much I can realistically make and the numbers and everything. All I know is what I'm seeing on YouTube. It seemed like a risky way to get started to me at the
Right.
time. If I had found one for like 1,000 or 1,500, maybe I'd have hopped in then. But yeah, so that was a story with that one. I will go back and talk to them, I think, and see if they're still friendly to apartment Airbnb
Yeah.
hosts. I will, but I want to ideally I still want to find a one with a cheaper price point. It just it's just more profit at the end of the day. You don't want to spend more on overhead costs than you need to,
That makes
um,
sense.
especially considering like the apartments are they're good. They're not bad. I mean, the building is nice once you get on the inside. But
Yeah.
the other thing is, I didn't like the area around the building. You would never like just looking at the area. You wouldn't think that the building was that nice
Right.
until you get inside. You would never know because it looks kind of run down around the building. So that was the second turn off for me. Like it's I guess some people manage it. Like the last time I went to Houston, I got an Airbnb there, and I saw the pictures of the apartments on Airbnb, and they looked nice. Okay, this looks like a nice place, decent price.
Yeah.
But what they didn't show was the pictures of the outside. the the Airbnb was basically in the hood, basically, but
Yeah.
they didn't show that part. So when I was about to get there, I was like, hold on a minute, like am I in the right place?
Right. Right.
But what was I saying? Yeah, so once I actually got into the apartment itself, it was nice. It was well set up and everything. But the actual building looked kind of run down on the outside. Some looked like there's some shady shit going on around the building. Like
Right.
the parking lot of the building had a gate. Like that that already told me something. Like okay, this is not your average neighborhood. And then at
Yeah.
night at like 2 a.m. there's the neighbor in the opposite apartment starts screaming. The two of them
Ah,
just screaming. I don't know what they're screaming. I don't know what they're screaming about. I don't know what they're screaming about. They're just screaming. I mean, as long as they didn't come hit my door or anything, I didn't really care. But
oh
it was
man.
odd. It was so that's exactly the kind of experience I don't want somebody to come to my Airbnb and have. I mean, I
Right.
still gave them their stars or whatever, but I told them like, hey, your neighbor is getting pretty loud, and I suspect that's not the first time they've heard that. And the thing about Airbnb is like you set up this nice experience, everything's great, the apartment looks nice. The littlest thing can turn people off,
Right.
and then it's like people have this I don't want to say overactive imaginations because as a consumer of Airbnbs, I've been there too. I think it's when I became a host I started to become more forgiving of other Airbnb hosts. Not that I
Right.
was ever harsh, but I definitely started to understand more. So when people see one little thing, it sparks your imagination. You start wondering, was this place even cleaned? When last
Yeah. Yeah.
so you don't want to even put that speck of doubt in people's minds. Like for all I know, the neighbor was just playing Call of Duty or something. But
Right.
because I've already seen the environment around the building, now my mind starts coming up with all these different
Yeah. Start
scenarios of what's
wondering
going. So that's
what's about to happen. Yeah.
yeah. So those kind of details are very important. You don't want to open that door for people to start thinking different things. So that was the other thing that turned me off of the place. It's the surrounding area already just looked so sketch. But I'll talk to them again for sure, especially if I have a hard time with other buildings. It's I
Yeah.
guess it'll make sense to go back to a place that I know for sure was already doing that.
For sure.
And it's easier if you don't have to convince them. If it's something they were already doing, they probably have a system in place. Whereas if it wasn't, even if they agree to let you do it, okay, now we'll let you do it, but and then you start saying, "Oh, I'll need this and I'll need that." It's like an uphill battle. And some places will say, "Oh, well, why don't you do a background check? How are you going to put the key fob?" And they're like, "Okay,
Right.
that's your problem. You figure it
Yeah. Yeah. No, for
out."
real.
Yeah, so yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But anyways, enough on the Airbnb segue for a little bit. So what's I think we're going to talk about your other project today, the assisted living. How's that going?
Yeah. So I think we didn't even talk about it until like the very, very end because it's kind of like a I don't know. I guess I was just caught up on, just the fix and flips and stuff like that. But the big thing that we did, so we started this in, let's see, my journey started with residential assisted living. That's what we're doing. We started this back in 2021, which was last year. but we had some problems with the contractors that we were working with this particular house. So basically, what we're doing is we're taking homes from that are basically just like regular residential homes and turning them into residential assisted living facilities where we're putting seniors in there, and the base that they're paying is around like $4,000 per bed. So what we do is we take a regular house, which is like a 3 bed, 2 bath, and we'll convert it into a 5 bed, 3 bath in place, give or take around like depending on the size of the house and how much square footage and stuff like that that we have. We can put maybe like 10 seniors in the home. Sometimes, if the house is big enough, we can have up to 16 seniors in Texas. And each senior, like I said, will be paying $4,000 per bed, and that's like the base. It's kind of like a la carte type thing where the price goes up based on whatever needs that they have. And in these homes, what we really specialize is better senior care. So the reason why most people like to come to these homes is because this compared to a big box assisted living facility where there's like hundreds of seniors in there. Most of the time, when a senior is being moved into another facility, it's kind of like a culture shock when they go from a house to a huge apartment because they've lived in a house for, for 30, 40 years. So what we're doing is we're just keeping the basically we're keeping the home and creating a culture where it feels more like a family to the senior.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. That idea always intrigued me. Like, oh my god, what is going on with my mic right now? Can you still hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I need to go test this thing out again or get a new one or something.
Good.
But it's been acting all kinds of weird since it got this one little dent in the mic. It's crazy how sensitive these things are.
You dropped it.
I don't even ju- judging by the paint on the dent. I think I hit it on a wall or something while I was carrying it. I don't even remember. It's been a while now. But yeah, so to kind of delve into that a little bit. So when you say like they're paying $4,000 out of uh per bed, that's something that um man, I'm not too familiar with these American systems. What they call it, Medicare, or what is it called that's covering
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, so some people that they do like Medicare, Medicaid, basically billing, right? We don't do that. What we do is all of ours is just straight private pay. It's private pay or long term care insurance, just so we don't have to deal with the whole billing experience because that can get pretty tricky. And if you don't know how to do it right, you can definitely get in a lot of trouble, which a lot of people have. So
Oh,
yeah, we're just pretty much private pay.
well, you probably get audited a lot too if you go that route.
Right, 100%, 100%.
Okay, so I think you were saying you were having trouble with the contractors. So what's next on that front?
Yeah, so we started the one that we have in Fairfield last year, 2021. And basically, what happened was we were supposed to get everything up and running really by like the fall time, but the contractors messed up on the floors, and the floors had like huge bubbles all throughout the floors. So we were going back and forth with them to fix it, and they were saying, "Oh, it wasn't their fault; it was our fault." And thank God we got them back in there, and they ended up fixing it, and we got the floors flattened, and the house is pretty much done. So from there, we started doing the licensure process, where basically we had to work with the state to get the different license to be able to put seniors inside the home. So how that basically works is you do your application. On that application is usually about like 5 or 6 pages, and on that application you have to prove that you are a company with an LLC. You have to do a background check. That background check, from what I've seen, when we did it, it took like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. It's like a pretty thorough background check just to make sure that you haven't done anything like crazy to where it might end up like hurting or affecting the senior. Another thing that we have to do is right after they do that background check, they come in and do a life safety check where basically the state comes in and makes sure that everything is ADA approved, and that's basically the Americans Disability Act, saying that if anybody is handicapped, they can get around the house without any assistance. That also, we had to get sprinklers put in the house, and sprinklers they run around like $40,000. So
What? Are you serious?
yeah, they're pretty expensive. I definitely didn't know that until we had to do it. So the sprinklers, we had to get fire extinguishers. We literally, like, this house. If we wanted to, we purchased the house for like 68,000. But if we wanted to, with everything done to it now, we could really sell it for close to probably like close to like 250, 260 now. Just with the way we basically optimized it.
Wow, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the sprinklers. Is, is
Yeah.
the funniest things that cost that much?
Right. No, it's
Wow,
pretty crazy because I guess what makes it cost so much is that they have to go through like a bunch of different like permitting. They have to do like different designs with architects to basically sketch out the house for them to get a good plan of where to put everything. And then after that, they have to work with the fire marshal to make sure that everything is up to code and we're good to go.
huh? So,
Yeah.
do you have to put in like all those assisted railings,
Right.
stuff like that for wheelchairs, and all that?
Everything. Had to make sure that the doors are wide enough for you to be able to roll through with a wheelchair.
Wow.
And yeah. So after that, after we do the life safety, they'll come in, and after we do the life safety, we're able to put three people in the house. And the three people is just basically like a test run, saying like, okay, we know what we're doing. We have our systems down packed. And after that, I think around like 30 or 40 days later, the state will come back out, make sure that we have all the signage that we need up, that we're basically running the facility the way it's supposed to be ran. And they'll give you like your full license to put it in the maximum amount of people in that house that you put on that application.
Hmm. So, I guess where we had stopped last time was something like, so let's say I'm Bob off the street and I want to start this 4 months from now. What does Bob do? How does Bob get started from start to finish? What's the blueprint like?
Yeah, for sure. So, um, number one, there's a few different ways you can be a limited partner, or a passive investor and invest in a company like mine, or you could go out and do it yourself, or you could actually purchase the home and rent this out to a manager or a management company that does this, and you can charge them like two or three times the average rent in that area. So if the rent's like 1,200, you could really probably charge them closer to around like 3,500, maybe $4,000, give or take. So let's say that Bob wants to do exactly what I'm doing, which is that they want to go through the whole process of actually owning the house and owning the business. So what Bob would have to do is get a house. Um, I guess one probably that is at a good price, or they can get one on the market, whatever. What I would probably consider or advise Bob to do is to get one that needs a little bit of work, so you're not paying the market value for the house. So you get a house that needs a little bit of work. They come in and fix everything up to the ADA standards, put the sprinklers, fire extinguishers, all that other good stuff. Get it all in there. While you're doing that, you start working on getting your license. You put in the application with the state. With us, it's the state of Texas. And while the construction's going on, you're working on your license. The life safety person comes in after the sprinklers and everything is done, and then you're able to put the three people in. And once you have the three people in, the state comes back out, and then they give you your full license after they see that everything is running the way it's supposed to be running.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that so in that scenario, if you go with the management company, how much do you have? How much do you know about that route, that particular route? Like, do you absorb any liability if something happens in the home? even though you put a management company in charge.
Yeah, so the management company is going to have their own insurance. So you're literally just the leaser. So you don't really have any liability if a senior was to fall and was to break a bone or whatever. That all falls on the management company because you're literally just leasing them the home. But you will also have your own insurance as well, just in case.
Mm. Yeah, real estate and insurance. That the value of that insurance is, I don't even know. Like, not just real, not just Airbnb, but even on something like Turo, like you get
Right,
your own car insurance and some other insurance, and then Turo's insurance.
right.
Yeah, I absolutely hate the idea of insurance, but I'm starting to realize why why it's so necessary.
You need it. You need it. You definitely need it for sure.
Yeah. So in your okay, so this is not under now property investments, right?
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. So there's the three different ones. You can be a passive investor. You can do exactly what I'm doing, which you own the real estate and the management company, or you can just own the real estate. So on my side, I own Now Property Investments owns the real estate, and the management company is Able Assisted, and
Okay.
and that those are the ones that actually run the day to day operations and take care of the seniors.
Okay, so are you getting into the business of hiring staff to do that, or
Yeah, yeah. So the staff that you need CNAs or caregivers, and you also need to work with an RN because the RN, whenever you bring in a senior, and you basically they start renting or leasing a bed from you, the RN has to come in and basically go over everything that the senior is going through, meaning like their health condition, what they can eat, what they can't eat, and basically give you a rundown of what their health is like at that time.
so this is a whole different kind of business, really.
Right, right. It's basically, I guess the best way I could put it would be kind of like the hotel business, where you own the hotel, but you also have like the management company that runs the day to day with like the cleaning and the support up front and marketing and all that other good stuff.
I see. So if say somebody came to you today, hey Neil, I just bought this house, don't know what to do with it. This assisted living thing sounds cool. Able assisted would be able to say, okay, hey, we'll take the house and we'll set it up for this stuff and we'll deal with the day to day stuff and you get your check in the mail.
Right, exactly. And the reason, just like you were talking about with Airbnb, why somebody that owns that house would love that is because number one, they know that the house would be taken care of because we have seniors in it, and the house has to be as clean and tidy as possible because of the seniors. And number two, you're going to get that huge payback because you are renting to a commercial business.
Yeah. That's pretty neat. I've kind of considered doing something similar with Airbnb, especially well further down the line after I already get some hands on with the apartment scene, where I would just come to somebody and say, okay, hey, this is what this business is like. Would you like to get started? Don't worry, I'll take care of everything. You pay this much, I'll help you set everything up. Or even after setting up, I help you manage it on an ongoing basis for, I don't know, there are management companies that will take like 20-30%. So I need to figure out what would make sense for me to take and while still making a profit, but making it cheaper. But I've thought about
Right,
going that route as well. It's interesting how endless the possibilities are. Even in these businesses, it's like you don't even have to be doing the actual, you don't have to be involved in the actual business. There's just so many peripheral businesses around. Like
right.
there are some Airbnb. There's some people who started as Airbnb hosts. I've seen a couple who started out as hosts, and then they're like, hold on a minute, like now their main thing is they have a cleaning company or something that works for other hosts, and now it doesn't matter rain or shine, their business is moving because somebody's always going to need their Airbnb cleaned.
Yeah, so they're gonna get paid either way.
Yeah, so they're gonna get paid either way, exactly. So I've been keeping an eye out for more of those peripheral needs now, but
Right.
it's kind of hard. Usually, it doesn't come to me until I hear somebody say it. I'm like, damn, why didn't I think? Why didn't I think of that?
For sure, yeah, yeah, and even with that, and that's why a lot of people they love real estate, but they aren't, they're not the ones that want to actually run the real estate. So going back to even like the limited partners or the passive investors, there's people that really love real estate. They want to, either purchase a house and, get that passive income, or they want to be the management company and run the property, but they just don't have the time. They don't have the energy. And that's where you coming in and being a passive investor really benefits because number one, you are able to get that basically mailbox money every single month. But number two, when you're a limited partner, your risk of you being sued or anything like that really goes out the window because you're not the one that's actually doing like the day to day. You're basically not the figurehead. You're basically just the bank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, how did you? I think we may have mentioned this in the last one, but it's been so long I don't even remember. How did you come up with the idea for this, and how did you? I don't know anybody that's listening to this. I know when the first time I heard of it, it sounded like, yeah, this is cool, but I don't know if I want to take on all that liability. How did you come to terms with that part?
Yeah, so I first heard about it when I was on my way to one of our flip houses back in I think it was like 2019 or so, and the guy was basically talking about how great it was for seniors, but how it was a really great investment for people that were looking to make passive income as well. So I kind of put it in the back of my head until 2021 when we saw this house that we have in Fairfield that would literally be like the perfect house for it. I wish I had pictures that I could put on here right now so you could see it. But after that happened, we kind of just like dove head first into it because when you're looking at the numbers on these things, it's really astronomical, truthfully. Especially when we're talking about if you compare it to like a 20 plus apartment building, the cash on cash returns are it's really not even comparable. You can't even compare the numbers.
And you said you
And
got
you said
the
you got
place for what, like
this.
70,000? You said.
Yeah, I got it for 68.5, and so if you want to run the numbers, we can. Let's see. So I got the house for 68.5. I put in around with the sprinklers. I put in around let's say close to about 75,000 plus 75,000. The house with everything the house is worth around like 250 now, like I said, if we wanted to sell it. So all in we were all in around like 243, right? Now
Yeah.
each resident is going to pay around $4,000, and in the house that we have down there we can have two, four, five, six, seven, eight. We can have eight residents right now, and that's without us converting garage. If we converted the garage, we can have actually 10 residents in the house. So it's eight residents times 4,000. That's 32,000 a month times 12 months. That's $384,000 a year. Now, if we wanted to, once we get all the residents in and we have it stabilized, we could sell it for 3x that value because most of the time the value of companies or the value of whatever the asset is basically based off of that times three or whatever. So if we 3x that 384,000, we could end up selling the house that we bought for $68,000, and we put all the renovations in altogether $143,000. We could end up selling this house with the management company in it for $1.15 million.
Okay. I guess when you said astronomical, you weren't kidding.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, it's great for the investors, but it's even better for the seniors because the seniors are able to really get like really good care because when they go to these nursing homes or big box facilities, the CNAs are working like 1 to 20. It's like one CNA to 20 seniors, and it's like they cannot see everybody every single hour, and it's basically uh, they're basically put in like social isolation. And what we've learned from studying just seniors alone is social isolation is really like the number one killer for seniors, because they go to a place where they feel like they're alone, and as humans we need to feel connected to want to continue to live. So
Yeah.
these places are amazing.
Yeah, that's the one thing I've definitely noticed about older people is they love conversations.
Right,
Conversations are like currency,
right,
and I
right.
think that's the reason why.
100%. And that's why we pretty much changed our whole like model when it comes to now property investments. When we look to purchase houses, we really are looking to purchase these homes for residential assisted living facilities, so that we can convert them into it. So uh, within the next 5 years, we're looking to purchase one home per quarter. So within the next 5 years, we're looking to have around like 20 of these homes in the Dallas Fort Worth metroplex and all throughout Texas.
Nice, nice. So how does that work? So you purchase these homes from now through Now Property, and then you change the ownership over to Able Assisted, or
Yeah, no. So we purchased a home with Now Property Investment, and we leased that home to Able Assisted.
oh, okay,
Yeah, so we don't even have to do any change of ownership or anything like that, because Able Assisted is just the management company.
it's pretty interesting. So say you sell Able Assisted, the management company, with the house, like
Hmm.
like you're saying. And so in that situation, if you had already set up like two or three other houses, Now Property would technically still own them.
Well, basically, what we would do if we were to sell that house, we could do it one way or another. So we could sell just the business in that home and keep Now Property Investments as the owner, and whoever purchased that house would still be paying us rent every single month. Or we could sell the house and the company together for that, like that number that I was talking to you about earlier.
Mm, well, either way, it
Yeah.
sounds pretty interesting. Where's
Right.
Fairfield, Texas? Again, I need to go look up that place.
Yeah, Fairfield is right outside of Corsicana. It's literally like 20 minutes from Corsicana. But
Okay.
our next ones that we will be purchasing will be in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. And we actually had a bid on one this weekend that we ended up losing out on, because even though we can purchase these homes and, you know, basically raise the value astronomically, I really don't want to overpay, because I still am a real estate investor, and I understand the market can turn at any time,
Yeah.
and if we have an exit strategy to be able to get out, I don't want to be underwater. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just thinking about what the market is like for this business. Say so you have a house in Fairfield, Texas. Can you
Right.
expect that most of your residents are going to be from that area? Does it matter at all, or I don't know what that space is like.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter, truthfully. The people that we really have to sell it to are the kids of the seniors, because those are the ones that are actually pretty much paying for the house, or choosing where their parents are going to be. So it really just comes down to the marketing and them knowing that this is going to be a safe, fun environment for their mom or dad or whoever they are to them.
Hmm. So would you have stuff like games or whatever in the house?
Yeah, yeah. So basically what we'll have is we'll have a garden in the back. We'll have they love to watch TV. We'll have a huge like 65-inch screen TV in there. Um Games. We'll have people that come in with like those, what do you call them, like care dogs, like the little puppies or whatever that you can like pet and stuff like that.
Yeah,
We'll have like different activities, and we'll also be taking like little field trips here and there. Nothing too crazy, but little stuff just to help them be able to get outside of the house a little bit and you know have a good time.
that's pretty interesting. I think
Right.
I like to learn more about a little bit more about this thing. I like the idea as much as at first it sounded a little bit daunting at first, but I like the idea behind it. And then of course
Yeah,
returns are always amazing.
for
So
sure.
yeah, definitely something to look into more. But I think
Yeah,
I need to chew one bone at a time.
100%. I mean, and you know, it sounds a lot easier than what it is because number one, going through getting your license with the state is a pretty tough process because you know they drag the feet with everything. Like I said, working with contractors, that can be tough, you know, alone, and having to get like the fire marshals and the permits and all the other good stuff. So it's definitely not an easy task, but it's well worth it if you're able to get your systems down.
Yeah, it doesn't sound easy by any means, actually. Yeah, this makes Airbnb sound very simple.
Yeah, for
Very
sure.
simple. Well, anyways, yeah, that is pretty fun learning about that. Any parting information or advice you want to leave with the listeners?
Yeah, yeah. So if you'd like to learn any more, if you'd like to learn more information about residential assisted living facilities, whether you wanting to start one yourself or possibly being like a, passive investor, we do have a lot of those different opportunities. And this is not me soliciting anything. This is just me saying you can definitely reach out to me. My email address is nj basically Neal Johnson, NJ at nowpropertyinvest.com. And I'd love to answer any questions that you have.
Okay, perfect. I'll reach out to you for information to put on the show notes. I think I have everything from the last one. I should be able to just copy it. I don't think there's anything different.
Yeah.
I probably had Able Assisted in there too. Again, I'm a little bit rusty because it's been a couple months since I did this. I need to get more consistent. And there's this episode is going to take a little while to come out because I'm traveling tomorrow. Going to Puerto Rico tomorrow. I'll be there
Oh,
till Sunday. So there's that.
that'll be
Um,
fun.
and then, like I said, being rusty again, and also I'm changing my hosting platform. This is going to be the first episode that comes out after changing the platform. So I moved from Castos to what's it called, Anchor.
Oh, Anchor, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm moving it to Anchor. I don't know why I didn't start with Anchor. Somehow Castos, the way everything was presented, Castos seemed so much easier to start with all the integrations and everything. But
Yeah.
I think Anchor is even free. I don't know why I didn't just start with Anchor.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have this really sweet Spotify integration too that I'm really excited to play with. I wish I had that earlier because I did some episodes on music and we were talking about a bunch of music but couldn't put the music on the episode. But with Anchor that would have been so easy with the Spotify integration. So yeah,
Right.
finally made the switch anyways. And most importantly, they help you solicit for sponsors and all that, which I think is interesting. But saying all that to say, I'm going to be playing with the Anchor system to put this up and see how it goes. So probably I want to be optimistic and say maybe next weekend this is going to be out.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll see about that.
Hey, this is going to be a good one then.
Oh yeah. I'm planning a future episode too with some popular Airbnb hosts I've been following on Instagram. This one lady who she just started her own course. I think she has 2 3 units now, and she just started doing her own course. There's this other guy. I actually bought his course and joined his community in preparation for starting the apartment thing. That seems to be his specialty, I think.
Yeah.
He has some pretty good info in there. He actually does a free masterclass every Wednesday, where he'll give you a lot of. In my opinion, he's giving more information than he should for free. He's giving more. I would charge people for some of the stuff that he gives on those sessions, but he does them Wednesday evenings. I think 8 p.m. They're free
Right.
almost every Wednesday. I think. But he has a private community that meets up on Sundays, and there's just a wealth of information in that. I don't even have the time to dig through everything that they have in there. So
Yeah.
I'm sticking to the questions I need answered at the moment. But I'm thinking I might have like two or three people like that, and maybe you, if you wanted to get in on that kind of conversation and just
Yeah, for sure.
get into it and see what's. Hopefully, they're willing to divulge some nuggets on the show for people listening, and
Right.
anybody listening who's interested maybe can get in with one of them. I guess they both have classes now for sale. Um, to a lot of people, it might seem like a lot, but I mean, you have to invest something. Like the guy's class I bought, I think um, he had it on sale in December actually, but I was kind of dragging my feet and I missed it. I ended up paying like $400 for the class because
Yeah.
because I was indecisive in December. Uh, but yeah, it's stuff information like that is only going to get more and more expensive. The first guy I found that kind of gave me this idea on YouTube. I think his course is something like $1,500 or something.
Right.
Yeah, he has a lot
Hey,
of free information on YouTube, but yeah,
I'm 100% with paying for education.
yeah.
We do it all the time with college. I paid for, let's see, a few different types of, what do they call them? Like online courses or whatever. I
Oh
paid
yeah.
like 5,000 for one. I paid 3,500 for another one. Me and my business partner, we paid like what I think like 15,000 or 16,000 for one of the last ones. It's like I'm totally with it, and I think you can either pay for the experience or you can like drag your feet and
Oh
learn
yeah.
the hard way. You know what I mean? So I'm
Oh
totally
yeah.
with it.
Yeah. If I had found this guy 2 years ago, I don't know where I'd be by now. If I had found this guy 2 years ago, so that kind of information is
Right,
priceless. You can't put a price on
telling you.
that kind of information.
Right. And the only people that say it's bad are the ones that actually aren't action takers because you can purchase the course, but if you don't purchase it and take action, then there can be so many gems and you just lose it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. They definitely have to pair the action with getting the information, and that's a big part of why I like the community too, because it's um I kind of see it as a form of, let me say, a source of accountability.
Right.
Yeah, so they'll get on a Zoom call and talk like, okay, what's everybody done since last week? What's going on? Anybody having problems? What are you having problems with? That kind of thing. So it's really, really interactive. Um, can't wait to hop in there. Yeah, so just literally biding my time. I think my I was filing a new LLC that should be ready any day now. So it should be ready any day now. So I'm excited to get started with that.
Yeah.
Um,
Do
and
you have your LLC? Is that a series LLC or is it just like a regular LLC?
just a regular one. I seen that term somewhere, but now I don't even remember what the difference is. What is the series again?
Yeah, so basically, let's say you have Kennedy LLC, and that's your series LLC, right? And let's say you have Kennedy Airbnb
Oh
LLC under it, then Kennedy, I don't know, Residential Assisted Living LLC under it, and all the other ones. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
So basically, like the parental.
Right, right, right,
Yeah.
right.
I think, does it matter which one you create first? Because I eventually want to get to that point, but this one probably will not be the parent. I'll need to get another one. I need to get
Yeah,
another one to act as that.
it doesn't really matter which one you create first. I don't think this is legal advice, but I think I think that you can convert it either way because we've done it ourselves with our LLCs. We've converted it from a regular LLC to a series LLC.
Okay, because I think I'll eventually get another one to act as the parent or series.
Right.
So I have one with my partners working with on Airbnb already.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted one that would be just my own, so I can do some more experimenting. It's when you're working with, I'm sure you know this, when you're working with someone else, you can't just get a hunch and then go with it. 'Cause
Right.
you have to talk them into it. And
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like I lose some speed in being able to do that. I'm the kind of person where it's like I'd rather be able to move on that, and if I was wrong, I was wrong. It's just me. I'll take it on the chin and I'll learn from it and I keep
Yeah.
moving. So I want that space to have my own little experiments and try something that I think will work and see how it goes. But in the same time, I'm still going to be working with the other one. We had Havenheim LLC that we set up. And as uncreative as I am, I named the new one Kenheim LLC. I was kind of in a hurry the other day. I was like, okay, I don't have time to think of an eloquent name, so I'll just slap that on there.
Yeah. I feel that.
But yeah, we'll see how that goes. We'll definitely link up on that new one. I want to at least set up one apartment first before I've been talking to that lady already. We talk on Instagram quite frequently. I went on one of her webinars, but I feel like it'll be more of an interesting discussion after I've actually set up an apartment, and I'll
Right.
try to put that together. But I'll definitely let you know when that's coming up. It looks like
Okay. Cool.
I've started my bad habit of going over an hour again on these episodes. But as usual, thanks for coming on, Neil. Always great to have you. Let me know if you have any future topics you want to discuss. We can always break stuff down here. Again, if I don't reach out about the info, remind me if there's anything you want to put in the show notes that's different from what I had on the last ones. Just let me
Mhm.
know. I'll throw that in there, and I'll
Okay.
probably start editing this stuff maybe Tuesday night. Um, yeah, I think that's when I'll probably get to it.
All
But
right. Sounds good. I appreciate you having me, dude.
all
This
right,
was
man.
fun. I love doing this with you.
Definitely, the time really flies by. I could have sworn it was
Yeah.
like 10 minutes ago you went to pick up your pizza.
Right. Right.
Yeah. But anyways, thanks for listening, guys. Again, definitely go check out Now Property Investments. If you have some money laying around, you want to start a business, maybe look into able assisted.
Yeah.
Inflation is only getting worse. Do something with your money. But catch you guys next time. Same time. Well, same place. Maybe not the same time. Well, see you in the next episode.